April 1913, J.P. Morgan, the most powerful banker in history, was dead. Presidents mourned. Wall Street closed. But in the corner stood his son, Jack, age 46, not crying, just relieved. Jack had spent 46 years in a golden cage. His father built the greatest financial empire on earth and used it to suffocate his own son. This isn't the story of how J.P. Morgan became powerful. This is the story of what he did to the person closest to him and how that son finally broke free. J.P. Morgan's secret war against his own son.
Act 1. The Golden Cage. The boy who wasn't allowed to be a boy. Jack Morgan was born into destiny. From day one, his life wasn't his own. He'd attend Harvard, join the family bank, produce heirs, continue the dynasty. There was no room for deviation. J.P. Morgan had escaped his own father's shadow, but would allow no such escape for Jack. At Harvard, Jack discovered poetry, Shakespeare, philosophy. For 18 months, he imagined a different life, maybe a professor, maybe a writer. Then his father visited, saw the books and said, "This is not why you're here." That night, J.P. Morgan withdrew Jack from Harvard. No discussion, just done. Jack wrote in his diary, "Father has made his decision. I am to be the next J.P. Morgan, whether there is any of me left inside that shell or not. I feel I am being buried alive in gold." He was 21 years old, and his life was already over. At 25, Jack officially joined the bank. His father gave him a desk directly across from his own, not to mentor him, but to watch him. Every decision scrutinized, every client meeting reviewed. Jack wasn't learning to be a banker, he was learning to be invisible. In 1895, Jack approved a loan to a small railroad. He'd done the research, the numbers were solid. J.P. Morgan canceled it in front of the entire bank. "My son still thinks like a child." Jack was 28 and he was still the boy. That night, Jack considered walking away. He drafted a resignation letter, then he tore it up. Because who was Jack Morgan without J.P. Morgan? He didn't know. His father had made sure of that. October 1907, America's banking system collapsed. No Federal Reserve existed. Only one man could stop it, J.P. Morgan. He locked the nation's bankers in his library and refused to let them leave until they pooled resources to stop the panic. Newspapers called him the savior of capitalism. But here's what history forgot. Jack did the actual work. While his father played maestro, Jack was in the back office, calculating, structuring loans, saving banks. He worked 48 hours without sleep, and when it was over, his father took all the credit. Every headline, every congressional testimony, every history book. Jack was mentioned exactly 0 times. When he asked about recognition, Morgan replied, "You are a Morgan. That is recognition enough."
Act 2. The Breaking Point. By 1912, Morgan's power had grown so vast that Congress investigated him for monopoly. At 75, Morgan testified defiantly, "I do what I believe is right. Character is everything." He refused to apologize. But behind closed doors, the hearings destroyed him. Jack watched his invincible father crumble. For the first time, he saw his father was human, fallible, mortal, and strangely small. February 1913, Morgan fled to Rome, ostensibly for vacation, but really to escape. On March 31st, he died in his sleep at the Grand Hotel. Jack received the telegram in New York. He set down the paper, and for the first time in 46 years, he breathed freely. Jack inherited it all: the bank, the fortune, control of American credit. Wall Street expected him to be his father, ruthless, empire-obsessed. But Jack had spent 46 years being crushed. He had a different plan. Jack's first acts shocked Wall Street. He promoted on merit, not family connections. He expanded women's roles in the bank. He restructured client relationships to be less predatory. He told partners, "We are bankers, not emperors." My father forgot the difference. Then, the bombshell. In December 1913, Jack supported the Federal Reserve Act, creating a central bank that would end Morgan's monopoly forever. He testified before Congress, "My father believed one man should control American finance. I believe no man should." When World War I erupted, Jack loaned Britain $500 million at fair terms, not exploitative ones. His partners questioned leaving money on the table. Jack replied, "If we profit from suffering, we become vultures. My father may have been a vulture. I choose not to be." A German sympathizer shot him twice for it. He survived and realized he was willing to risk everything for what he believed was right. Jack had 4 children. He didn't force them into banking. He attended their school plays. He asked about their interests. He wrote them letters that didn't mention business. In 1925, he wrote to his son Henry, "Your grandfather believed a man's worth was measured in dollars. I have learned that a man's worth is measured in moments, the moments he chooses to be present for the people he loves."
Act 3. The Legacies. March 13th, 1943. Jack Morgan died at 75, the exact same age as his father. But unlike his father, who died in lonely exile in Rome, Jack died surrounded by family. His children held his hands. His grandchildren played in the next room. His last words, "I did better than he did. I hope you'll do better than me." History remembers J.P. Morgan as the titan who built American finance, but historians miss Jack's quieter legacy. Jack dismantled the monopoly his father built, creating a more democratic financial system. He treated people with dignity his father never showed. He broke the cycle of control. In the end, Jack Morgan did something his father never could. He chose people over power. This war is an ancient history. It's happening right now. In law firms where partners pressure sons to take the bar. In family businesses where children are told, "This is who you'll be." In every home where love is expressed as expectation rather than acceptance. J.P. Morgan believed he was preparing his son for greatness. He was actually suffocating him. If you're a father, ask yourself Jack Morgan's question. Are you building your child up or building them into your image? Can they describe their own dreams without fearing your disappointment? J.P. Morgan controlled banks, railroads, governments, but he couldn't control his need for control, and it destroyed his relationship with his son. And if you're a son or daughter still living in someone else's expectations, Jack Morgan didn't break free until he was 46, but he did break free. He used his inheritance not to continue his father's empire, but to dismantle it. He turned money into freedom, power into purpose, and so can you. Here's the uncomfortable truth. J.P. Morgan wasn't a cartoon villain. He genuinely believed he was preparing Jack for greatness. He thought control was love. Pressure was preparation. Suffocation was protection. He was wrong, but he believed it until he died. And that's what makes this story tragic instead of just cruel. We all face J.P. Morgan's choice. Do we value legacy or love? Empire or family? Being remembered or being present? J.P. Morgan chose empire and lost his son. Jack Morgan chose family and found peace. Which choice are you making right now? J.P. Morgan built an empire. Jack Morgan built a life. One left monuments, the other left love. Which legacy would you rather leave? For every son trying to become his own man, and every father learning to let him be.
What would you say to your father or your son if you had one honest conversation? Leave your thoughts below.